Eamon, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a marvelous Tuesday. Also extending good vibes the way of Trevo and Merle Seaman. Kiba, good morning to you. Maoze down there in South City, Grand Bay, sending good vibes your way. Dominica, this one here done by my good friend Seraphine Joseph, sending good vibes your way. Sarah, have a marvelous Tuesday. Up next, the DBS Major Morning News.
DBS News. Fresh in the morning. Eye-opening and balanced. The DBS Morning News starts right now.
This morning's headlines: Festival and Events Manager at Discover Dominica Authority, Ayodele Andrew, says her team is ready to stage the biggest World Creole Music Festival ever. That festival to take place this week. In news from the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines says 376 cruise calls this year place them as one of the top cruise destinations in the Caribbean. And news from the international scene, Japan gets its first ever female prime minister. And in the second one-day international between the West Indies and Bangladesh made 213 for 7 in 50 overs. The West Indies will need 214 to win the second encounter. Details of the morning news right after this.
Love the white and bright. A cash, pass off the double fight. Care what salt Kevin go washing machine. It's yourself clean and white bleach me. X2 goes a cash, try something. Clean and white bleach all round them. Usa sevi to a love guy. Nettoyer, kuto guy. Who disinfect bombs on you. Who nettoyer coat wet with it. Tell him who voltage. Nettoyer tiles. Every women get clean and white bleach many has somewhere. Your vest is as white as snow and your calzone. Blanco keys on piano. Clean and white is the right white.
Locally distributed by Fine Foods, Inc. Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Major Morning News. The news this morning brought to listeners through the kind compliments of Fine Foods, Inc., HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited, and Petro Caribe. My name is Curtis Matthew. Here we go with our lead story. Festival and Events Manager at Discover Dominica Authority, Ayodele Andrew, says her team is ready to stage the biggest World Creole Music Festival ever. The October 24 to 26 event marks the 25th edition of the festival, and a record 45 artists will perform. Andrew was a guest on a special 25 in 25 World Creole Music Festival program on DBS Radio last night.
Well, as you all know, this year we have 45 artists on the lineup. This year we've expanded the crew because this year the festival is much grander. We are working within the same time frames that we have worked with. That's what we're doing. What we're doing is starting earlier. So gates open earlier. So on Friday, the gates open at 6. On Saturday, we open at 5. And every day, the show will start earlier. And I think a lot of people do not know the magnitude of work that the small team at DDA executes all year round, not just for the festival. Our CEO, Miss Marva Williams, who was once the festival and events manager herself, she has empirical knowledge of this festival, and that she shares with the team every day and keeps guiding us. So I do think this festival in particular, the festival experience, not just the production, this festival in particular, the experience is going to be one of the greatest, as it deserves, for 25 years for Dominica. We've been communicating with our vendors and our service providers. I guarantee you, even as a Dominican who's here, you're going to see and feel and live through a great experience for the festival.
And that's the Festival and Events Manager at Discover Dominica Authority, Ayodele Andrew. She also said there will be a press conference by Discover Dominica Authority on the festival this morning. Meanwhile, Creole and Cultural Ambassador Leroy Waddick-Charles says he has some reservations about certain aspects of the festival, but endorsed the event.
Okay, firstly, I want to say the festival, again, is one of the best platforms for musicians, artists, musical technocrats, and I think it is one of the best activities, events for Dominicans and for Dominica by extension. I am disappointed in the fact that the language was left behind. I believe if the authorities had continued the thrust at the beginning of the language, with the educational component, I think more people would be involved in the language now, because we already had the infrastructure where the Franco Islands were already part of the World Federation of Cultures and the headquarters in Dominica. Secondly, I believe we have to maintain standards for our Dominican artists to emulate. If you just look at the Signal issue, Signal started at the forecourt and eventually moved to the big stage and see where they are. I don't think anybody should be on the big stage. I believe they should work to get there. So that means we should have a criteria to reach there. I don't think you should just come out with one song and all of a sudden, because you have several thousand likes, that you end up there. I think there should be a criteria, a standard criteria to maintain the standard, because the bands that have been on the festival have maintained a standard when you look at the showmanship.
And that's the Creole and Cultural Ambassador Leroy Waddick-Charles. He was a guest on last night's program. He says training for Dominican engineers and a permanent venue for the festival should be pursued.
We have gotten better. We have gotten closer to the other bands, but I still feel I am hearing some noise when our bands are playing, which means either the music we're playing is noisier or the mixing is a little inferior. I also believe we should really look at a permanent venue. By now, 25 years, 47 years as an independent nation, we are now a big man or a big woman. And now we should look at really getting a permanent venue like we did for the indoor facility in Massac for entertainment. I looked at in particular, the Newtown Savannah after one event. And if you look at it tomorrow, you'll understand what I mean by that. We are subjected to the weather. Thank God the stadium have some level of shelter and can accommodate the thousands. But I believe the vision should continue where we should try to identify some place.
Creole and Cultural Ambassador Leroy Waddix Charles, TK International keyboardist Geoffrey Joseph encourage young artists to be professional and be serious about their craft.
So one of the things is that I always advise artists coming up is to do what you know is true to yourself, what you believe in as an artist. You know, there are a lot of artists that will do what the commercial space demands of them, because they figure, okay, I want to make it, I want to burst. So for me to burst, I have to do this, I have to do that. But is that really the artist? You know what I mean? And then how long can you keep on doing that? Yep. You know, will you be able to really truly sustain it and really truly bring it out to your audience? Will they really resonate with you? Because are you just putting on a facade, or are you really bringing out something that is genuine to yourself? So that is what I think it needs to start with that. And then from that, you also need to ensure that your product in itself is something that is marketable. Is something that you recognize there is a market for, and you are targeting that market space, and you are presenting yourself with all the different paraphernalia that is required to put around it to that market. It is always wise and good to have yourself presented on a certain level. Don't try to be an international artist, but you present yourself as something else. You're an international artist, you want to be recognized on an international stage, and you put yourself on that level. And then when you get to that stage, it is, as I said before, it's not an automatic renewal of your contract. You know, you don't get there like you get a job in the government. Once they appoint you, that's it. No. Every year you have to keep working on it.
And that's the TK International keyboardist Geoffrey Joseph. He was on the special program for the World Creole Music Festival on DBS Radio last night. DBS News will bring you some excerpts from last night's program. The agent for FRS Express in Dominica has assured passengers that ferry services into Dominica will return this week with a slight change in schedule. The services were disrupted last week due to a serious breakdown on one of the company's ships. Joanne Bellot, manager of shipping and tours at HHV Waitrose and Company Limited, spoke to DBS News on Monday.
So by now, everybody would know about the situation if Express is facing. It's a very difficult time, but rest assured that FRS Express is doing all in its power to ensure that our passengers are treated in the best way possible, very fairly. By now, most patrons would have read it, that they were facing an exceptional situation in one of the vessels breaking down on Friday. While we did not have service on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday due to ground swells, we were supposed to resume our operations on Sunday the 19th. But due to this mechanical breakdown, that was changed. So on Sunday, we had the ferry depart from Guadeloupe into Cabritz, and we only brought in about 350-something people, but we did not have anybody leaving the country. So today we have a schedule where we are trying our best to ensure that the patrons from Guadeloupe, Martinique, and St. Lucia are brought in for the festival, and also persons who are stuck here to go back. So today, Monday, and also tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll be doing the voyages from Guadeloupe from 11 o'clock and to arrive here at 2. So we'll be doing Guadeloupe, Dominica, Guadeloupe. On Wednesday, the patrons from St. Lucia will be able to leave St. Lucia at 5 p.m. We'll have another service from Guadeloupe at 7:30 and one at 11. And then from Martinique, we will have one at 4:30 in the afternoon. And then the schedule will fix itself back on the Thursday.
And that's Joanne Bellot, manager of shipping and tours at HHV Witchers and Company Limited, speaking to DBS News on Monday. President of the Dominica Calypso Association, Gregory Caressa Riviere, has revealed that February 14 is the date set for next year's Calypso finals. Riviere, the four-time Calypso monarch of Dominica, was elected last week to head the Dominica Calypso Association.
I want to thank the members of the Calypso Association for having the confidence in me to take the reign in a very, very difficult time. Of course, you know what transpired over the past couple of weeks, but suffice to say, we have so far the executive had one meeting, and then following that we had a meeting with the former executive, very, very productive meeting. So we're just basically preparing for the new season, which is expected to be a very active season. Of course, Calypso finals will be on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February. And Calypsonians are gearing up. I know a number of them in the studio. Very, very soon we will hold a press conference to basically alert the public as to what are some of the plans that we have moving forward. And I'm hoping to have a discussion with the treasurer because I haven't received any official word from him. So I'm hoping to have a word with him. Of course, this week Wednesday, we will have a meeting. So the executive will decide exactly how we move forward from there. We have a very, very talented group, quite a number of persons, very resourceful persons. There are a number of persons who can assume the position of treasurer.
And that's the president of the Dominica Calypso Association, Gregory Caressa Riviere. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Kent Edwards, says a two-day training workshop on the prevention and management of sexually transmitted infections is timely. The training workshop at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital got underway on Monday and is supported by the UNFPA and UN Women and Global Affairs Canada.
This training comes at a critical time as Dominica continues to strengthen its capacity for disease prevention, early detection, and management of STIs, including those that can significantly impact reproductive health outcomes. We recognize that STIs prevention and management are not merely clinical priorities, they are also public health, social, and development imperatives. They intersect with issues of access, stigma, gender inequality, and adolescent and sexual health, all of which influence our collaborative ability to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goals 3 on health and wellness and well-being and Goal 5 on gender equality. Through this initiative, we are not only investing in professional development of healthcare providers, but also enhancing the quality and accessibility of sexual and reproductive health services across the health system, ensuring that women, men, and young people receive informed, respectful, and right-based care.
And that's the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Kent Edwards. He says the handing over of sexual and reproductive health commodities to the government of Dominica will help empower Dominican women. And finally, prominent Dominican dentist Dr. Damian Dublin has raised concerns over what he says is the threat of conflict hovering over the Caribbean. Tensions have increased between the U.S. and Venezuela after the Donald Trump administration deployed a significant military presence in the Caribbean, although it says the deployment is to attack drug trafficking. Dr. Dublin says the Caribbean community must be concerned by the threat of any conflict in the region.
We used to read about news of wars in Africa, South Sudan, Russia and Ukraine. These events very far from us, and we felt comforted. But right now, the tension is getting right at our doorsteps. As we gear to celebrate our world-famous World Creole Music Festival, a festival which puts Dominica right in the center, the heartbeat of the Creole world, a celebration of music, culture, food, and just Creole way of life. And also, while we head towards 47th anniversary of our independence, we must be mindful of these happenings and think of the impact it could have on the many achievements which have taken years of sacrifices to realize. So really this statement is just an awareness that while we're going around our jolly way, there is tension in the region which could impact every aspect of our life. And we must be aware of it, call it out, and play a part wherever we can to help in a peaceful resolution of this issue.
A prominent Dominican dentist, Dr. Damian Dublin, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is expected to receive 376 cruise calls across the island chain for the 2025-2026 cruise season. This represents a slight dip from the 377 calls in 2024-2025, but still eclipses the 374 calls received in 2023-2024, solidifying St. Vincent's position as a key destination in the Caribbean cruise circuit. The first call to Kingstown will be on October 29 with the arrival of the MV Amera, carrying approximately 835 passengers. Kingstown will also welcome 7 inaugural calls, including the MV Renaissance on December 14. St. Vincent says, despite the challenges, the overall outlook for the 2025-2026 cruise season is very positive. Finally, Japan has its first female prime minister. 64-year-old Sane Takaichi won Japan's election on Tuesday to create history. She is now the leader of the traditionalist, male-dominated Liberal Democratic Party. She has expressed concern about Japan's reliance on the U.S., but has also said she hopes to work closely with President Donald Trump. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. That's news. Don't go away. The sports report comes up shortly.
Need one trusted place to stock up for your home, shop, or business? Fine Foods Inc. Distribution has got you covered. From dry goods and frozen foods to your favorite drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, plus all the household must-have. We've got it all under one roof. We're right here in Jimmy Dominica. And yes, we deliver fast. Whether you're running a supermarket, a corner shop, a bar, or just like your pantry full and happy, Fine Foods Inc. brings you the best brands you know and love. Great prices, top-tier service, trusted products. Call us at 255-6810 or 316-0164 or drop by our Jimmy location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc. The biggest distributor for the biggest brand.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
K1 Creole Festival is almost here. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm going to every event and the festival itself.
What? But how are you managing it all?
Easy, with my NBD credit card. Every swipe is a chance to win. NBD. Celebrate 25 years of the World Creole Music Festival. 25 years, 25 big wins. Use your NBD credit card or sign up this festival season
for a chance to win exciting prizes. Shop, swipe, win!
Don't have a card yet? Sign up today and join the celebration.
Call 767-255-2337 or email credit@nbd.pm to get started. Hurry! Promotion ends November 5th, 2025. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's begin the DBS Morning Sports Report with cricket news and news on the second one-day international between the West Indies and Bangladesh. The West Indies at the moment 5-1. The West Indies chasing 214. They are 5-1. Brandon King went without scoring. Alec Athanaze was on 3 and Casey Carty not out on 3. So the West Indies needing 214, 6-1 at the moment. Alec Athanaze was not out on 2 and Casey Carty not out on 3. Well, earlier, the West Indies allowed Bangladesh to reach 213 for 7 from 50 overs. Saka made 45. Richard Hossain, 39 not out in only 14 deliveries. And Hassan, 23. But Alec Athanaze, he produced some very good bowling. His best ever. Alec Athanaze, 2 for 14 in 10 overs. A surprise package for the West Indies. Moti had 3 for 65. Akil Hossain, 2 for 41. And as we told you, Bangladesh made 213 for 7. The West Indies needing 214. A little while ago, they were 6-1. DBS will bring you proceedings a little later today. Let's bring you some news on the second test match between South Africa and Pakistan. Well, Pakistan batting first in that test match made 333. Shan Masood made 87. Shafiq 57. Shakil 66. The bowling for South Africa, Keshav Maharaj had 7 for 102. South Africa, the last we heard, 120 for 2 in reply. Stubbs had 38 not out. So the scores we have so far in the second test, South Africa and Pakistan. Pakistan 333, South Africa 120 for 2 in reply. Well, let's now bring you some more sports this morning. Basketball. It's an all-North showdown in the DABA National Basketball League final as the Peebush Super Eagles, they will face off against BAA Sharks of the North. A new champion will be crowned this year with both high-energy teams promising an action-packed series at the Massac Indoor Facility. The best-of-5 finals are expected to begin around November 1 following the Independence celebration. Well, basketball coach and youth sports advocate Dunstan Maggie Peters, speaking to DBS Sports, encouraged fans to show their full support for what is expected to be an electrifying basketball final.
Well, it's an all-North playoff affair in the DABA National Basketball League 2025. The grand finals, it's going to be 2 teams from the North from the Premier Division, and that's going to be the Peebush Super Eagles versus the BAA Sharks, the Sharks from Benz, Anthony, and Solder. The new champion is going to be crowned this year, and it's going to be from the north side, one way or the other. And it's two very energetic teams, two very high energy, high powered, high shooting, high flying, high wire. So it's going to be exciting playoffs at the Massac indoor facility. The finals is going to begin after the festival. Date hasn't been set, but just, stay tuned. Looking at November 1st, which will be the Saturday. Best of 5 series, so first team to 3. So trust me, it's going to be very, very exciting. Just want to invite everybody to come down to the Massac indoor facility, fill up the place, and it's going to be very exciting.
And that's the basketball coach, Dunstan Maggie Peters. Maggie Peters is also a coach for football, and he expressed gratitude to the former SMA alumni for donating over 70 pairs of football boots to the high school and primary school players. He said the gesture supports youth development and urged other alumni groups to follow suit and to help the young athletes. Coach Maggie Peters said he was grateful that contribution was made to St. Mary's Academy. Domino coordinator Delvin Esprit says the late Julius Timothy was instrumental in sporting activities across the island. Mr. Timothy, a former government minister in both the UWP and DLP administrations and a businessman, died at the weekend after a lengthy battle with illness. He was also an avid sportsman, having played cricket, football, table tennis, and dominoes. Mr. Timothy also led the formidable Swansea domino team of Pottersville. Over the weekend, some matches in the Julius Timothy Independence Domino League were postponed as a mark of respect to the passing of the league sponsor, Julius Timothy.
I know Mr. Timothy for quite a while. We have played dominoes together. He has been representing Swansea for a number of years. I've been playing against him. He has been very competitive. He also played for my team, the Public Enemy team. He's always part of a domino commission. Whenever I call him, whenever I need him and so on, I ask him to come and play, get the opportunity to come and play. He had a very good partner by the name of Ted Dilly that passed, and Ted Dilly passed recently. But I know Mr. Timothy to be a very good man, a very humble man, and really involved in sporting activities, also play cricket and football. So I knew him for quite a while, and I can tell you that what a man he was and so on, for his country and for his people. And in terms of domino, I realized that Mr. Timothy was going through a process, so I decided to do something. Let me organize a domino commission on his own whilst he was alive. And I started off last year with 50 domino teams around the island, and it was a very competitive competition around the island with 50 domino teams. This year I decided I wasn't going to organize any domino commission because there was an association there. But in the end and so on, when Wadix had that program for Mr. Timothy and so on, somebody called and so on from way over City Side Street, you know something, you need to continue that process for Mr. Timothy. And I'm going to help you to sponsor it, and also ACS coming on board and sponsoring that competition for Mr. Timothy on behalf of him and so on, for his legacy. So Norwich have passed and so on. I want to accept my condolences on behalf of my family, to Mr. Timothy family, and also to the domino fraternity around the island and so on. As you know that he was well loved in terms of domino around the island, so we had sort and so on to his family. But Mr. Timothy, as I know, was an added man and so on in terms of his domino. He took it very seriously. He loved his domino, and any other game that I know Mr. Timothy loved his domino. So again, as I say, he played for quite a number of years, and he has been a very successful businessman. He also served in government on both sides. So I just want to say tribute to him.
Domino League coordinator Delvin Esprit. Mohammed Rizwan, and that's back to cricket. He has been dismissed as Pakistan one-day captain, with Shaheen Shah Afridi replacing him. The decision was announced by the Pakistan Cricket Board shortly after the first day of the test match between Pakistan and South Africa, a test both Rizwan and Afridi are playing. No reason was given for the replacement of Rizwan as the one-day captain. Finally, a new date will be announced for the 9th Bry Park Memorial 5K event, which is organized by the Pioneers Athletics Club. The event, which was set for Sunday, October 19, was postponed because of weather conditions. Here is the president of Pioneers Athletic Club, Cedric Harris.
Yes, the Pioneers Athletics Club sadly had to postpone our event, Bry Park Memorial 9th Bry Park Memorial, which was scheduled for Sunday 19th, due to the inclement weather that we had. Hopefully we are planning to go ahead with the next date as soon as possible so we can have the event off. We also have on our calendar our annual award ceremony for our club members. This is scheduled for 19th of November. As we go forward, we continue to work towards developing our members as a team, as a club, and as positive citizens. Cedric Harris reporting for Pioneers Athletics Club.
That too is a look at the DBS major morning news and sports. Let's remind you, from just around 12 o'clock today, we head to Botanic Gardens for the second day of the TV Lash Creole. Let's remind you too that over 100 small businesses are showcasing their products at the Botanic Gardens where the TV Lash Creole is taking place. DBS Radio will be bringing that to you live from 12 o'clock today. Well, that's a look at news and sports. We'll bring you another major